Hello everybody and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends, Marvel Studios, the first 10 years, Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy. We got the Marvel Studios logo, the Legends logo, the Guardians logo, and the Guardians emblem all on the front. We also get Ronan here in the front window. We get that embossed Marvel Studios at the top. On this side, we do get the read-up for the synopsis for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. If you do want to read that, go ahead and, there you go, pause it now. On the back, we do have a movie poster. This is number 6 in the series. And then we do have the read-up here for Ronan. An avid loyalist to the Kree whose family was killed in the Kree-Nova War, Ronan agrees to a partnership with Thanos in order to take down the Nova Corps on Xandar once and for all. And on this side, we do have the Guardians of the Galaxy Build-A-Picture piece for the Marvel Studios First 10 Years collection. And at the bottom, we do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that. Let's get this open and take a look at Ronan the Accuser. And here we have Ronan outside of the packaging, and it's a very cool looking figure. I think it's well sculpted and well painted. There are some design choices that are going to limit the articulation, most notably in that the hood here and the shoulder pads, and I'll kind of go over that. But overall, like I said, the sculpt and the paint are not bad. There's actually not a whole lot of need for the paint. This is a pretty plain looking character as far as his colors go. He doesn't really have a lot going on, grays, blacks, and then just his face and some of the reds there. But yeah, so he only comes with this hammer that is his only accessory, so we will get a better look at that, and then we're going to get a better look at the figure. So taking a look at the hammer up close here, we can see we get some pretty decent looking sculpt work and design. You actually have these little grips going in, and it ends up being a squared surface or a flattened surface as you go through, and it's flattened on odd sides, so you get flat top and bottom here, and then rotating flat top and bottom there. And then going down, we have the Power Stone embedded in the hammer here. And I can't really tell if this is just bad paint or if it's meant to maybe look like it's glowing, but actually as I look at it this close, I'm inclined to say that it's not the best paint application on the Power Stone there. But it's kind of cool. You can see the little cracks and things like that in there. And then the hammer itself is pretty well designed. You get some cracks throughout the hammer. And on this side, we don't have a Power Stone, so if you wanted to have a display option, just have them hold it in the opposite hand or have it displayed otherwise. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. There's actually some really bad marbling on this side too. But yeah, like I said, not a whole lot to it. Very light deco just on that Power Stone there, and even then that kind of came out a little splotchy. So getting a look up close here, we see some really cool paint applications done on this head sculpt. And actually the head sculpt itself came out looking good, but those purple streaks coming down from his eyes to his mouth, I think they're subtle, and it adds just the right amount of deco so that it doesn't stick out looking too terrible. You'll notice the black parts of the face as well. Similar to the movie, you have smooth skin throughout, but then the black pieces is a bit of a rougher texture skin, and that does translate to this head sculpt. So I think that is a really cool addition there. Looking at the hood that he has, so it is well sculpted, well designed. I'm not a fan though. The shoulder pads are sculpted onto the hood, and then the hood is glued onto the head, which means when you turn his head, those shoulder pads are coming with it. So unfortunately, this Ronan figure is going to be looking straight ahead most of the time. But looking down at the rest of the figure, we get some cool armor plating throughout with some just fine detail in there, which I think came out, again, looking really good. Not a whole lot of deco going on. We got these red streaks throughout, which, yep, looks fine. You also have that red in the back there as well, which you don't even really get to see because you do have this soft material for his cape, whatever you want to call it, I guess, his scarf coming down. And then looking at the legs, you get some limited articulation again, which is a bummer for a figure that already has some limited articulation options because of that head sculpt. But the legs are well sculpted. You get some really cool texturing again throughout that. And the boots came out looking pretty good. Yep, no surprises there. And then just real quick, I didn't show the hands. Some good armor plating on the back of the hands with these fingerless gloves, and then looking throughout the arm as well. So actually a well sculpted figure, but yeah, limited articulation. And looking at the scale real quick, we can see that Ronan is coming in at just under 7 inches tall. So mentioning the articulation, again, you do have a head that can turn from side to side, but not many of us are going to want to do that because of that sculpt option. And then even though, again, the head can look down, you get an even weirder flare out of those shoulder pads. So really, this is going to be something where the head articulation is not going to be something that's widely used. You have arms that, without having that shoulder pad in the way, can actually come up pretty far, but because of those shoulder pads, you're probably not going to get it much further than that. But looking at the arm, you do have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, and then you do have rotation. And on this hand, you have a hinge going up and down on the side versus this hand, which is the standard in and out hinge that we have on most of our Marvel Legends figures. For an ab crunch, he can look down that far. These are going to flare out a little bit, but since they're not really that bulky, they don't really get in the way too much. And you do have the crunch that can go back that far. You'd have a waist articulation, legs that unfortunately cannot go that far apart as previously discussed. You have that much forward, but nothing backwards, again, because of that. Upper thigh cut, well, that one's a little stiff. You have a double jointed knee, but again, you're limited because of that. You do have, nope, no boot cut, but you have a ankle pivot and hinge on the feet. And for a quick comparison, here we have Ronan standing next to the Groot Wave Star-Lord wearing the head sculpt from the Guardians 2 Chris Pratt or Star-Lord figure. And then, of course, we have the Build-A-Figure Groot. So you can see that Ronan does fit in quite nicely with the scale between these two figures. And that about wraps it up for this review, everyone. So overall, I think it is a good-looking figure. I think it's well sculpted. However, the options that they went to go with some of the articulation limitations, so the shoulder pads and then the, I'd never know what to call this. I don't want to call it a skirt, but tunic? I don't know. But you get that limited articulation in the leg. You get the limited articulation in the head. So you can't really do any good action poses other than just him basically holding his hammer, because anything else really kind of requires some sort of twist, turn, or something other than just standing straight up. So, but with that being said, if you are building that MCU collection, I think it is crucial to have some of these villains that we didn't get. So I think the inclusion of getting Ronan, similar to how we got Yellow Jacket with the Ant-Man 2-pack and Crossbones, we're getting some of these additional MCU villains, and I really like that because it does help to round out the shelves where it's not just a shelf full of the heroes, but yeah, the villains. So, but as I mentioned, that is it for this review. Please hit that like button if you like this review. Make sure to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And aside from that, thanks for watching my video and have a great day.